y'all could turn your cameras on, I would greatly appreciate it too. It's only gonna make your grade better. All right, so again, we're gonna identify health risks, and the objective is to identify factors that influence a person's health. We're gonna describe 3 strategies you can use to evaluate risk factors. All right, I need feedback from you guys. Either talk to me in the chat or unmute your mic and speak, okay? So using a cell phone puts a person at risk for developing cancer. That's a myth or a fact. The fact is cell phone use does not increase the risk of developing cancer. However, cell phone use while driving does greatly increase the risk of car crash. All right, so where do you think people get their information from about health risks? How reliable are those sources of information? Where do you think people get their information from about health risks?
Probably the internet, or I wouldn't say books because I don't know, but the internet.
Yeah, I would definitely say the internet. A lot of people get their news from Instagram, to be honest.
Probably not.
A lot of people take their
I
news
have
from World
something,
Star,
but I guess
but
yesterday
those sources
Wednesday
are
was
not credible. So that matters in
both.
the sense of making sure your source is a credible source. Like you can't take information from Wikipedia and get excited about it, all right? Because anybody can write that information. You want to make sure it's a credible source, all right? So right now, like for example, we're dealing with the vaccine. We're dealing with people getting vaccinated. It's really important for those people to make sure that they do
But I just wanted to confirm.
um,
Okay.
and discussion of the vaccine and what type of vaccine works for them. Make sure you're not putting something in their body that's going to have an adverse effect on them. Okay, so you want to make sure you're a credible source when you are looking at definitely dealing with your health. Appreciate you for turning your camera on too, Father. All right, influences on health. All right, these are factors that influence health include heredity, environment, technology, healthcare, and behavior. All right, so heredity is to some extent your level of health is already determined when you're born. The heredity are the traits that are passed biologically from parent to child. Even if you inherit a risk factor, you can lower your overall risk by avoiding other risk factors. Another part of your heredity is your gender, whether you are male or female. All right. So for the most part, heredity is just like this. I'll give you a good example. Anybody got a mama that can sing? Anybody mama know how to sing? Your mama know how to sing?
I have a dad that can sing.
You have a father that can sing. So more times than not, if you have a father or a mother that knows how to sing, more times than not, you're gonna know how to sing in some form or fashion. Even if you're just a great shower singer, you're still gonna be a singer in some form or fashion, okay? Because it's already in your DNA, just like it was stated before. If you think about athletes, a lot of times you see athletes, even if they're older, they always have a son or a daughter who's doing the same type of sport or doing some type of sport because they have that athletic gene in it. All right. All right, so physical environment. All right, environment are the physical and social conditions that surround a person and can influence that person's health. The physical environment includes both outdoors and indoor surroundings. Being aware of your potential risks in your physical environment can help you protect yourself. It's like very common right now. You don't want to be out right now not wearing a mask. Right? Well, hopefully you don't want to be out right now wearing a mask because you know it definitely puts you at potential risk for COVID. Social environment. Your social environment includes the people you spend your time with, your family, your friends, your classmates, or other people in your community. Your social environment is healthier when you choose friends who show concern for their own health and yours. All right. All in all, I love this part of the lesson, to be honest with you, because we always get to ask the great question. How many of you guys will get in a car with somebody who doesn't have a license?
Said get in the car with someone who doesn't have a life.
No, license, not licensed to
Oh,
drive.
oh no.
Will you get in the car with that person?
Too bad. Too bad. Everyone I know has a license.
Yeah, I'm saying, would you get in the car with a person that you know doesn't have a license though?
No, because then I can get in trouble for knowing that he doesn't have a license.
All right, and see, that's the way you want to pick your friends though, because I mean, at the end of the day, this person really doesn't care about themselves first and foremost, and they're putting you in danger as well. So you want to make sure that at least the person cares about themselves before you even put your fate in there. All right. All right. So culture is the beliefs and the patterns of behaviors that are shared by a group of people and passed from one generation to the generation. Some cultures, public display of emotions are typical. Other cultures, people tend to keep their emotions private. All right. So depending upon what culture you're from. All right, media. With this, are forms of communication that provide news and entertainment. Like I was saying, a lot of people get their information and their news from IG. All right, so media can have a positive or a negative influence on your health. You might receive useful information from a public service announcement or from a news report on a health topic. Some characters on television uh, shows maybe poor role models when indulge in risky behavior. So all in all, don't do what you see, especially on TV, especially if it's a fictional person, fictional character. All right, technology. Advances in technology help doctors to detect health problems sooner and improve the quality of life for patients. Some websites provide accurate information about health. Others are filled with misleading, self-serving information. Be sure to consider the source of the information on a website and the purpose of the site. All right, so can somebody give me a website that you can use that's not a credible source? That's not a credible source. Give me an example of a website that a lot of people use is not a credible source.
As you said, Instagram.
The number
Yeah.
one, one is Wikipedia to me. Like, because again, you can go in there and literally write whatever you feel. All right, so healthcare includes medical services provided by the doctor, nurses, dentists, and therapists. Healthcare also includes the places people work, clinics, and hospitals. All right, behavior sometimes become habit. Habit is behavior that is repeated so often that it becomes almost automatic. Unhealthy habits can be broken. You can set a goal to change your behavior. Your goal should include a plan for changing your habit. All right. All right. So evaluating health risk. A risk factor is a condition or condition that increases the likelihood of injury, disease, or other negative outcomes. Consider both short and long-term consequences. Decide whether you can control the risk factor. Analyze the possible benefits and risks of a decision. All right. So before you make any decision, you want to evaluate and know the consequences of the decision that you're making. And if you can bear those consequences or not, depending upon that, you should make your decision off of that. Like if you can bear the consequences, okay, go ahead with it. But if you can't bear the consequences, more than likely you can make that decision. All right, so short and long term consequences. But I kind of like to flip the short and long term goals. I would look at it as goals more so than consequences. All right, some behaviors can have an immediate effect on your health. With some risky behaviors, the consequences are not immediate. All right, it can be very difficult to change habits that have existed for years. Even if you do change your risky behavior later in life, you may not be able to repair the damage you may have done to your body. Can you give me an example of that? Something that doesn't have an immediate effect on you, consequently, but it's
Something that has an immediate effect?
no, it does not have an immediate
Oh, well, I would say vaping and drinking.
vaping and drinking. There you go. Alcohol and drugs. Yep, it doesn't have an immediate effect, but later on in life, especially if you do it for so many years, definitely going to suffer those consequences and damage to your body. All right, risk factors you cannot control. You cannot control the color of your skin or other risk factors that are part of your heredity, nor can you control the risk factors in your environment. All right, so just like here at school, I can't control everything here at school. I can just control this classroom for the most part. But if the principal comes in here and tell me to do something different, I would have to do that. All right, these are risk factors to control. All right, control your level of physical activity. You can control your intake of fat, sugars, and salt. Control your use of tobacco, alcohol, and other drugs. You can use protective gear such as seatbelts. You can choose who your friends are. These are all risk factors that you can control. All right, you want to, somebody got the music on. Somebody mute themselves. Quintavious, man, mute yourself when you come into class. Bro. All right.
What you want me to unmute for?
So we're going
I'm in the class.
to all right, analyze benefits and risks. All right, without taking risks and trying new things, it would be impossible to grow as a person. You need to weigh the risk of an action against the possible benefit. Did y'all hear what I just said? Without taking risks and trying new things, it would be impossible to grow as a person. So if you're not, no, I know. All right, without taking risks and trying new things, it would be impossible to grow as a person. Like, if you hadn't learned anything from me today, please take note to that. All right, risk benefit chart. All right, you can help you decide whether to accept a ride from a friend who doesn't have a license, like we discussed earlier. All right, so the benefits would be you're home before curfew, you avoid an argument with your parents, you feel confident in your friend's skills. The risk could be an English medium driver crashes the car, parents are angry about the decision, and friends lose permit or is arrested. All right, so the vocabulary, all these things we just went over. All right, before we get into our section 1.2 today in the book, I'm going to ask you guys if you have any questions for me. Any questions for me? Okay. What we're going to do for section 1.2, I'm going to post that assignment in your Google Classroom, okay? And after that, we'll use that as a ticket for you guys to log off after I check work, okay? So give me 1 second, let me post your assignment.
Coach, I got a question.
Go ahead, shoot. What's your question?
Hello, let me mute this TV. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, so it's the class, right? So it said that I had got put in the class, I think like earlier this week. And it's called Rec Games, right?
Oh, you in Coach Whedon's class. Yeah, you in the wrong class right now. Yeah, you in
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
No,
it's okay. I spoke with Coach Whedon about it. When was this Tuesday? I think he came to class a little bit late Tuesday, and I was telling him we had found his class. So I'll go over and make sure you put on his roll today. I'm gonna get the code for the class, and I'll let you know exactly what it is. Just stay right here, okay?
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
All right. Let's see.
Yes.
Okay, so I just spoke with Coach. You said you're already in the Google Classroom. You asked a question in his Google Classroom. You confused about what class it is. But
Yeah, that's fine.
you're gonna do the same thing like you do in my class. You're gonna go to classwork, go to topic, go to Zoom link. Use your first period class. Okay, it's Rick Games. That's what you have now, first period. Okay, so you won't have this class. Listen, I already got your attendance straight with him, so you're good. Just switch over, okay?
So I leave this class.
Go ahead and log in now.
Okay.
All right.